Larisha Warner, and I am back to give you all an update. I know it's been a long time. I know you've been wondering, sis, where have you been? But today I just wanted to do a check-in with you just to catch up, let you know where I've been and what's the plan that I have moving forward. So if you all don't know me, I am Coach Larisha Warner, and thank you for coming to my page. Whether you found me on YouTube, whether you found me on Facebook, or even here on Instagram, thank you so much for tuning in. I promise I won't be on here too long, but I just wanted to do a quick check-in just to let you know what's been going on in my world over these last several months. So, yeah, it's been a minute. Some great things have definitely happened in my life over the last few months, but then there also been some low moments. So I'm going to kind of help you navigate through and kind of take you through what my life has been like over the last, I'll say, 6 to 9 months. So first things first, of course, the new year hit. I was so excited, had all these ideas, had all these plans, things that I wanted to do. Of course, we know we're still in a pandemic, but I still had a goal in mind. I still had some things that I just wanted to do. And one of the things that I definitely wanted to work on was really my health. I wanted to work on my health. I wanted to work on my body, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I was on the right track, to say the least. I was on the right track. And then, you know what happened? Life happened. So many things began to happen in my world, and I literally lost my footing. So this video is really going to be a transparent video, just like anything else I've shared on my social media platforms, whether it's on my website or even in my book. I want you to be encouraged because you're not alone on this journey. So, as I stated before, I had lost my footing. Life just happened, and I found myself in a space, a very familiar old space of me just trying to really figure out what is going on in my life. And I felt, and if I could be honest, I felt myself sleeping into I would say a depression, to say the least. I really felt like I was really entering into a depression. I literally only just got up to do my 9 to 5. I still went to church, but I felt like it was a pulling and a drag just to get me out of bed. And during this particular time in my life, I was having some challenges and friendships in my family, and it just was a lot of things happening at once. I had went back to counseling, and all these old emotions, all these old triggers came up, and I felt myself, I felt like I was in over my head, to say the least, and I could not figure out how to cope with those things. And for a while, I felt like I was in a real space of like grief, like I was dealing with a lot of loss, and I didn't know how to unpack it. I didn't know how to navigate through it. And it was some tough moments in my life. Now, while all these tough moments in my life, me, feel like I'm in a place of depression, not wanting to be around people, not wanting to talk to people, I still felt like the hand of the Lord was still in my life. He still placed me in friendship and kinship with people who still wanted the best for me. I had a goal in mind secretly that I wanted to, move out again. I was living with my parents for a season, and I was ready to get back out on my own. And I was working on my finances, getting things together. And one day I said, it's time for me to step back out there again. I had made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to stay there long, but I just needed something to just get myself back on track, get back on, financially back on track. And that's what I was working on. So that began to give me a glimmer of hope, like I can get out of this stuck place that I felt like I was in. And I remember having a conversation with some friends, close spiritual leaders, about what was my next. And the idea or the conversation of me moving came up, and normally I had told a few people about that was what my next move was going to be, but I had no idea that conversation was really going to set me up for where I am today. And I want to really encourage someone to know, like, regardless of whatever it is that you're going through, the Lord can still send people into your life who can really speak life into you, who can really pull you out of deep, dark places, who can really be that voice of reason and that outlet for you. So don't be ashamed to open up. That's what I had learned in this season. Don't be ashamed to open up, because that's what I started to do. When I opened up, just the whirlwind of great things began to just happen in my life. And it found me in a place where I was in a home buying process. I had every intentions before this process of going into a rental townhome. I mean, I signed up, I was ready to go. I was targeted, I had my date. They approved me, everything was well. And even after talking to spiritual leaders, they were like, no, you can do this. And I was like, but y'all don't understand what's going on that's what I'm thinking to myself. You don't understand what my financial situation was. So you have no idea. That's what I was saying myself. But truth be told, they did have an idea. And I'm so grateful to God that I followed my leadership's advice to just try it. Just really step out on faith and really try this process. And it was, in my opinion, it was definitely a process that I had no idea that I would find myself in 2021. I really thought that this process was going to kind of take place a couple years down the line, and I was going to be okay with that. But God had another plan for me, and I found myself getting into the home buying process, and things began to move so fast. And I looked up and I was like, this is really happening. This is really happening to me. The Lord remembered the prayers that I prayed years ago when I said, when I left my last apartment, the next place I move into will be a home. And yeah, that's what I said. I said all of that, and I was still, in my mind, I felt like I had another plan set up, but God really remembered the first thing that I said. And I can admit that process wasn't an easy process, to say the least, for me, from a perspective of my emotions were all over the place. I mean, this was a faith journey for me to walk through that journey of doing this home buying process and how fast it happened. I had never been through that before. And the Lord really was with me every step of the way. He aligned me with the right people, from my realtor to the mortgage lender to the company to everybody, even the sellers of the home that I'm in today. Everybody was so amazing. And as I really began to reflect back over that whole process and up until now, like, I'm still in awe of what God did. Like, he really remembered my prayers. Like, he really saw where I was. And then he also knew where I needed to be. So I just wanted you to be encouraged by this. Like, the Lord will remember you. He will honor those prayers. He has not forgotten about you. Even the smallest thing that you think that he doesn't care about, he still cares about it. So please remember to put it before him, because that's what he did. Like, he really has blown my mind. When I come around the corner to my home, I'm like, I have a home that's mine with my name on it. It's not a rental. It's a home that the Lord allowed me to buy. And I am so grateful to him, just because the way that it happened. I mean, I began my process from the moment I had the conversation with the realtor to closing day. It was only 42 days. 42 days. That is something that it's kind of, I think, in my opinion, unheard of, especially in the times that we're living in, especially in this housing market, to be able to get approval, to go to closing, all those things, have all of the money that I needed at the closing date to be able to move in 42 days. You can't tell me that God wasn't in the midst of that. There's no way I could have done that by myself. So I just truly thank God for, not only seeing me where I was in my sunken and low places, but really reminding me of his glory and of his power. Like, he truly is Jehovah Jireh. Like, he really, really did come through and provide this opportunity for me. So I'm just like so grateful to him that he did that for me. Like, so if he could do that for me, best believe, y'all, he can do it for you. Be encouraged. If you're out there, you're trying to go through this process, trust God. Yes, you can't tell everybody your business. You can't, because everybody may not be out there looking in your best interest at heart, or they may not even care that you're even going through this process. But I encourage you to really, really trust God through your process, because he will blow your mind. One of the prayers that I had about this process leading up to closing day was really like, Lord, if it's in your will, they'll give me money back. And very few people knew even the financial situation leading up to closing day. And hey, it's my page, I'll tell it. I didn't think that I was going to have all the money that I needed on my closing day. But the day of, I remember getting before the Lord, and I prayed and I cried and I wept. And I said, Lord, if it's in your will, you will help make up the difference. Because I don't want to be the reason why this deal falls apart. That was the prayer that I prayed. I don't want to be the reason that this falls apart. Everybody is rooting for me. Everybody's ready. They're excited. I don't want to be the reason that this falls apart. So a few hours before closing, I get a call from my realtor. We're going back and forth. We're looking at numbers. We're trying to balance everything. And I'm going off and they're telling me, go ahead and just send your money. If there's any overages, we'll send it back to you. And my mind is, I want to know how much money y'all want. I have been watching these numbers since the moment I signed off on the contracts. I want the number to be what the number you said it was going to be. And that was what I was saying to myself. And like I said, leading up to that day, I was due to close at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. It was about 1:30ish. I called my realtor and I said, hey, these numbers don't look right. These numbers don't look the same. This is not what we agreed upon. I've signed off on it. I sat with it like I'm supposed to. This doesn't look right. He calls them back and he said, wait a minute. You've sent too much money. I had sent too much money. And I just truly thank God that he heard my prayer that morning. So because I sent too much money, I was able to get a check back at closing. And not only that, they had overcharged me. So I didn't even have to have all the money that I needed at closing time. So not only did the Lord give me back money at table, but I didn't have to come up with all the money that I thought that I originally needed. So I just truly bless God because he is a provider. Like he really came through in the clutch. Because when I tell you, I was looking at numbers, adding, calculating, just making sure every dollar made sense. And if I didn't look right, I questioned it. And they were like, you are really honest. I said, because I got to pay for this. I want to know what I'm paying for. But I am truly in awe of what God did. Like he really did his thing on this. So I'm in this house now. I am so grateful to God that he has allowed me to be in a place that I can call my own. And just the peace that I have surrounding this whole purchase and surrounding just being here. I'm actually creeping into 3 months of being here. It has been an amazing experience just being able to curate it and make it my own and decorate and do some slight renovations to it without having to break the bank. And being able to pay all of my bills. So I am truly grateful to God that he saw fit to allow me to have this blessing. This was a huge thing for me this year. Like I said, in the midst of all of this going on, leading up to closing day, I found out that I had lost my grandmother on my father's side. And I'm not sure if anyone's familiar, if I've ever shared it on my social media, but there was a period in the season where I did not speak to my grandmother. And when I finally got a chance to meet her in person, it was like a beautiful moment for me. So for me to be able to have lost her while I'm trying to go to closing, it was almost as if, how can I be grateful and happy when yet I'm still grieving a loss? So it has definitely been a journey, to say the least, of just being able to handle the loss, the frustration, the pain of not knowing why it happened, how I found out it happened. It has definitely been a journey, but I thank God that he sent forth the Holy Spirit to comfort me. You know, when I don't have the answers, I can look to the Lord. He said in the scripture, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all of his ways, I got to acknowledge him. And he'll make my path straight. I've literally had to trust in the Lord in this season of my life where I felt like I had been walking through a season of loss, through a season of grief, and just being able to navigate what that looks like for me. But I'm grateful to God that I'm still standing here. I'm grateful to God that he hasn't given up on me and that he has really done a new thing. He's doing a new thing in my life. I'm getting back to what's important. I'm focusing on the things that are important to me, and I'm not trying to focus on things that I have no control over any longer. But one of the most important things, like I started off this video, and that was focusing on my health, my mental, my physical, my emotional well-being. Like that is so important to me. I remember even after coming into this home, once the blessing come, you know, the enemy will try to come right after. And I felt like I was tested literally within 30 days of me being here, and how he brought people from my past who just popped up out of nowhere, like nowhere. I haven't talked to you in years, and you just show up and you call and you think everything is everything. And I had to literally remember the same things I share on my social media about, you know, not falling for the okie doke, not falling for the counterfeit, and really remembering like, no, they're gone for a reason. Let them stay where they were. You don't have to re-engage. Just because you've forgiven them doesn't mean you have to open the door to them back in your life. So I'm glad that I passed those tests. You know, I had a dream one day. It was very interesting, a very interesting dream, where I felt like I was talking on the phone with my mom, and I looked up and I saw a male figure in my house, and they had a mask on and they had a bag in their hand. And I froze up immediately. Of course, I'm just remembering the dream. And they stopped me and they told me before I could even scream out loud that, you know, I've been trying to steal things from you and I couldn't do it because this is what the Lord had begun to tell me. You know, I heard this still small voice in my ear that because you've been praising me through the midst of your storms, and while I've been in this particular house, he wasn't going to allow anything or anyone to take anything from me. So while I've been praising God, he has been protecting me. And I think of this concept of, it's not just about the home in the dream, but it's also about my heart. Because like I said, in the beginning of this video, I have dealt with a lot of different interesting moments over the last 4 or 5 months. Things that could have literally took me back and sent me back to the person that I used to be. But I thank God that I didn't fall that deep and that low to the point that I would begin to pick up drinking and alcohol and drugs and things of that nature. Like I had no inkling in me to do that, but it could have had I not began my healing journey. So I'm grateful to God that he has allowed me to navigate through those moments. Yes, there's still work to be done, but I'm not the same Larisha that I used to be, nor am I the Larisha that wants to stay in a sunken place or feel like I'm just completely overwhelmed with life and I just want to give up. He's reminded me like, no, he still has to do a good work through me, and I have to fulfill it, and I have to continue to put my best foot forward. And one way that I can do that is to continue to keep moving forward, and also continue to encourage other people and share these authentic moments. No, I don't have it all together, but I'm grateful that God has granted me the grace and the mercy to take it one day at a time, but also recognize that I can't do this journey without him. I can't do it. Neither can you. You can't do this journey called life without him. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you are used to being in control, I encourage you today, it's time to release control. Surrender your life over to God. That is what has sustained me in this season of my life. When I could have given up, should have given up, almost wanting to give up, I still had to show up every single day, no matter what it looked like. Crying, sad, weeping, not wanting to talk to anyone, I still had to show up, because if he had granted me another day to get it right, I owe it to God to put my best foot forward. So I've just been in a posture, in a place of just really wanting to do what he really has called me and created me to do. And that is to point people back to him. This is not about me. This is really about God. Like, all the glory goes to him. I can't take credit for this. I don't want to take credit for this. I don't even have the capacity to take credit for this. But truly, all glory goes back to God. I want you all to be encouraged. Hang in there with me. I'm going to try my best to do more of these videos as the Lord leads me, because I feel like the more that I share on this capacity, the greater we'll be able to build community, but also to know that, hey, you're not alone in this journey. And if God can do it for Larisha, best believe you can believe that he can do it for you as well. So again, thank you all so much for checking out this video. I said it wouldn't be long, but here we are 20 minutes later. But I thank you for hanging in there with me. As you think of me, send up a prayer. I'll send up a prayer for you as well, because we are truly living in an interesting time, and we need God like never before, And I just want you to be encouraged in this season, no matter what it looks like, no matter how difficult life may be. Trust and believe that God is in control. He can take care of everything that concerns you. And it's really up to you to make that decision if you're going to allow him to do just that for you. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't even know what to call this episode. Just maybe a check-in with Risha. And I just want y'all to be encouraged. Be encouraged. I'm excited about your future. I'm excited about your destiny. And I'm excited that you have made the commitment to trust God. So if you haven't trusted God, this is your opportunity. This is your season now to ask God to show you how to trust him. What is that going to look like for you? And I promise you, he's going to blow your mind. You can trust him with your finances. You can trust him with your life. You can trust him with your heart. You can trust him with your relationships. You can trust him with your career, your finances, you name it. You can trust God. All right, so be encouraged. Again, my name is Larisha Warner. Thank you for tuning in to this check-in video. Until next time, take care. You can follow me on, of course, all social media platforms. Here on Instagram, Larisha_Warner. You can follow me on Facebook with Larisha Warner. You can check me out on my YouTube channel that I am going to be really serious about growing. I Am Divinely Destined on YouTube. You can also follow my podcast page at Journey Heart to Heart. Thank you so much if you've been listening. We appreciate you. Me and my co-host, Erica N. Williams. Check us out. We have a YouTube channel that we're trying to grow. That's Journey Heart to Heart. And again, thank you so much.